we're just going to take a minute to unflex a bunch of these 7mm hole punch discs. And the other thing that you might want to look for as you're going through them, so if you have any of these like crescent moon shapes, and if you're doing tow hooks, set those little crescents aside, because they're actually, if you're trying to make them, they're not easy to make, but they do happen to occur naturally if you're using a 3-hole punch. Sometimes you'll get these just appearing, and they're great as tow hooks, so just set any of them that you can find aside and save them for later. You might have to make some later as well, and I will show how to do that, but I mean, if you get enough this way, that's even better. So, just going to unflex, and we're going to need 10 of these per side, so you need 20 in the end, but I'm just going to show doing one side, and then I will go on to finish up the back. So, I've got 7. So this video does work for the T-34 and the T-34-85 and the SU-85. So when you set the first layer, generally I'll do glossy side out, and I'm using 4:1 glue, and I'm just sliding them in until I just barely start not being able to see this blue line, and then I'll stop and try to get them right into place, like sort of in the horizontal direction, vertical as well. The place and accuracy that you set these on will determine how, well, will help determine how your suspension sits and how accurate it looks. So you don't want to have a whole bunch of problems sort of spiraling out of control as you go. So just try to be accurate now, and that will assist your accuracy later. So as you can see, there's just a tiny bit of the 7mm hole punch disc that actually comes out over the edge of the bottom of the chassis. We're actually going to go and do a double layer of these. So now I'm going to glue the glossy side to glossy side so that you have natural cardboard facing outward. Not that it really matters, you won't be able to ever see any of this except as wheel depth, essentially, or from the bottom or underneath. So I'm having a bit of trouble getting that to sit flat on there for some reason. If you're having trouble bonding glossy to glossy, you can always go with cardboard to glossy. Usually glossy to glossy does the bond is fine, but that one was being incorrigible. So I figured I'd turn it around and see what I got. The more sanded these are, the kind of better these glossy sides bond, so that may have been part of the issue. And actually, like, if these do end up coming apart, it's usually not going to be where the glue is. It will be them delaminating, and we'll take steps to reduce that problem at the end of this step. So hold on, and we will cross that bridge in a moment. So again, try to be accurate laying the second layer on, as this, again, will guide where you put your wheels. So you might want to go a little slower than I am. I'm sort of trying to rush in order to get through this to the next step. Now I've got one that's as if I had done both sides of that, but you don't need to watch me put on 7mm hole punch discs all day. Now, take out the 2-to-1. And like I said, these delaminate if they do not, rather than actually coming apart where they've been glued. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that you're getting glue all around the edges of them. So be careful that each of these gets a layer of glue all around like that. So that's your first duty on all sides of this. And then after those are done, then you can worry about the rest of it. But this is the main reason why we're hardening things now, is to protect these wheels that we just installed. And it's kind of easy if you don't specifically do them to kind of miss some of the angles or sides on them. And so that's why I recommend just going through and doing them specifically. You should be ready now. Not putting a whole bunch of pressure on them or anything. So when we hardened before, we did along this edge, which is where we're holding it now, which is, glad it's already been done. Go along and reset where this axle is, like that will glue it down even better. And just harden everything else down here. So like I think I probably mentioned before, you can do this as many times as you want. It makes the model quite a bit stronger every time you do. And so if you're using it a lot, like for war games, for example, or like a child is playing with it from time to time, then you might want to do more of these kind of coatings, especially once you have the detailing on, than I show being done, or even strictly necessary for the display and occasional handling. So keep that in mind. Like, it's not bad to just do this again and again and again. And that gets you ready for the next step.